Welcome, everyone. Today is session 3 of CareerForce and More for Employers. This is a session where we provide small bits of information about CareerForce, CareerForceMN.com, and MinnesotaWorks.net. We go over the who, what, where, why, and how CareerForce serves employers. We give tips for navigating MinnesotaWorks.net effectively. We introduce you to more people and resources within CareerForce, both statewide and in your local area, and help you navigate our website, all in little bites of information. Today is session 3. Today we talk about MinnesotaWorks.net. And today I have my coworker, Lena Bulk, here to present that. Um, Next week and the week after this, so December 23rd and December 30th, we will not be having any sessions due to the end of the holiday New Year break. We will resume on Thursday, January 6th at 8 a.m. And I will have 3 special guests from the veterans, the vocational rehabilitation, disability employment services team, and the workforce strategy consultant team, who will each give about 5 minutes of what their team does and how they can serve employers and how you can better interface with them. So please put your calendars back on for Thursday, January 6th. I'm Liz Jennings, Employer Engagement Specialist. You can email me anytime. And we have a fantastic team of people, small but mighty, on the CareerForce information and assistance line. And you're always welcome to attend, call them within business hours or send them an email. So let's get started. I introduced to you Lena Bulk, supervisor of the CareerForce information and assistance line. Over to you, Lena.
All right. Well, thank you, Liz, for all of that great information and introduction. Good morning, everybody. Happy here to share some insights, hopefully, on how to best utilize our state labor exchange, MinnesotaWorks.net. I also want to, I think at some point we'll probably do a session with CareerForceMN.com solely on that and some resources. But I do want to just kind of talk just briefly about that here today as well. So um, I also just want to make sure too that you guys have the right websites here as well when you're looking at creating your account, which is the first step if you have not done that yet. And I want to make sure that you are aware, number one, that you are going to Minnesota, with Minnesota spelled out, works.net. That is the official state labor exchange for Minnesota. There is a website called MN Works, and we get a lot of people that go to that by accident. They look a little similar, but that is a for-profit organization that does charge fees for posting your jobs and accessing resumes. So just always want to make sure we get a lot of calls on our CareerForce information assistance line because people are confused because they can't log into their account. And it turns out that they create an account on the wrong website. So just want to make sure you've got that. So it's MinnesotaWorks.net with Minnesota spelled out. We also have our other platform, CareerForceMN.com, which has a lot of information on resources for employers. You can create an account. You have access to labor market information, meeting your regional contacts for assistance with your workforce needs, and all kinds of other resources. And but I think we'll get into that website on a different session. Today we're here mostly to talk about MinnesotaWorks.net and kind of starting with the process and how to register for an account, just to make sure people have all those details, and then just some of the highlights and the options that you have available to you once you have an account that is created. Right, we'll go to the next slide. Thank you. So just to give you just a visual of the home page, again, we always want to make sure people are on the right website. This is what it should look like when you go to MinnesotaWorks.net. If you have an account already, this up here in the upper right-hand corner is where you are going to just log in if you have an account or once you get an account created. Job seekers that need to create an account will register selecting this button right here. And employers, this is where you're going to go to, if you don't have an account yet, here is where you're going to select this button for your registration. Oh, can you go back? Sorry, you know what, Liz, just can you go back one slide? Thank you. I forgot to mention one thing. I just want to call this out. This is an older slide, but if you can see under the job seekers and employers, this is updated in real time. Anytime somebody posts a job opening and anytime a job seeker puts their resume out there or activates their resume, so to speak, you will see these numbers change. And this was from probably this slide was probably originally created a couple of years ago. And today we have over, I think this week, 120,000 position openings. And we currently have about 17,000 active resumes on the site. So things have changed, obviously, quite a bit since 2 years ago. Okay, you can move forward now. Thanks. And again, just to show you real here, just a close-up of the employer registration. This is where you're going to select the employer registration button here to get your account set up for your company. The next slide. Once you select the employer registration button, you're going to come through a couple of different screens, and I just thought I'd kind of highlight some of the pieces here. Um, when you get into the approval process, that's what we like to call it here on the help desk, as all applications do have to be reviewed by our help desk team. We want to make sure that, number one, that you're an employer here in Minnesota, that you have current job openings to post, and that they are W-2 based. So we provide a little bit of information on that when you are requesting a new account. And then we kind of tell you what is going to happen. Once you submit your application, it is going to come into the help desk here at CareerForce. We will review it typically within a business day. We are all caught up on our applications. Sometimes it may take 2 business days, but typically we, at the end of every day, we clear out all of our applications. We will call you. That is how you are going to hear from us, because we do need to speak to you over the phone to go through the terms of use, which we'll cover here in just a little bit, and make sure that you are eligible to have an account and get a verification for your authority to create one for your organization or for your company as well. We provide a little reminder here also on this page just to let employers know of the password expiration, that every 90 days you will have to update your password to keep your account active and not let it lock up on you as well. On the next page here. All right. And then we give some information on the Tennyson warning, which really covers, why we're requesting some of the information that we do in the application, how it is used. You are definitely not required to provide all of the information. However, there are certain bits of information that we do need in order to approve the application, like the federal employer identification number. And if we do not have that, we cannot move forward with approving the account. And then you do need to also select that you've read the data privacy notice as well before moving forward. All right. And thank you, Liz, for putting the links in the chat. That is great. Thank you. Let's see here. The next part of the employer registration process is just really, again, going back to those terms of use. One thing that's really important, and we have this all happen on occasion, where somebody fills out an application for somebody else, but we want to make sure that the person whose name is on the application is the person that completed it, so they are aware of the terms of use. We want to make sure it's clear about, the the terms, like not charging a fee to job seekers for applying. The jobs have to be physically located in Minnesota. They have to be W-2 based. We want to make sure that that the person who is responsible for posting the jobs has gone through this process and has read the terms of use. All right, then we get into the actual application itself and entering your information about your company. You have to complete all of the fields that are marked with a red asterisk. We want to make sure that we get the current federal employer identification number that is required. If you have your state unemployment insurance account number, that is great. You can add that as well in this in the field for SEIN. Um, this is typically what gets some applications delayed from getting approved because we have employers that don't have the most current FEIN or are not quite sure what the number is and put in a random number. One of the things that we typically suggest to employers is to connect with their payroll department. That is typically where you're going to get the most current federal employer identification number, especially in some of these large companies where there's multiple entities, or there was a change where a company just recently purchased another company. There's always these changes, and then some of these FEINs are kept and sometimes they're not. One of the things that I always tell employers too is the best way to know what is the most current FEIN, federal employer identification number, is to look at what is going to be on the W-2 for the individuals that are hired for the positions that are getting posted. That is the number that we need. And we are sticklers about that, mostly for the employer's sake, because if an employer is ever audited for federal compliance, we're given the FEIN from the OFCCP office. And if we can't find the account because we set it up under the wrong FEIN, then we have to report out that they're not posting their jobs. And we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that we get employers set up under the right FEIN. So if that does happen and you are audited, we can report back to the OFCCP that, yes, this employer has an account, their jobs are posted, they're all current, and everything is great. So I know sometimes employers are like, I just need to get my jobs posted. Just, what does it matter? And so we want to make sure that we get you set up accurately and correctly from the beginning, so there are no issues down the road. We also ask if the employer has a DBA, a doing business as, and a legal name, that both names are put in there. We also ask too, it helps us to process the application, if you can make sure to not put in abbreviations and to put in the full name or no acronyms. That helps us to get your application processed more quickly if we have all the current information. So, and I'm just going to do a check here. Liz, can you still hear me? I'm getting a warning that that there might be some issues, and to turn off
Yeah, I
my
can hear
background.
you.
Okay.
It's fine.
All right. Just wanted to make sure, just to double check that. Thank you. All right. And then moving along here. So as I mentioned earlier, all applications are reviewed prior to approval. Once you hit submit with your application, it immediately pops up into our queue with our help desk at CareerForce. What we do once we get the application is we review all the information that's in there. Our biggest concern, right, is making sure that we never allow somebody who is trying to scam our job seekers, somebody who is not an employer, who is trying to create an account just to reach out for whatever purpose, right, for the scamming attempt to job seekers. That's our number one concern, is to make sure that we do not allow those individuals access to minnesotaworks.net, having access to job seeker resumes. So that is, we review all the data that you've supplied in the application. We are able to take the federal employer identification number, review that within the unemployment insurance database, which confirms with us that the employer has an account that's already set up, which means that they have W-2 based employment. And that's always a good sign for us when we see that. That's the number one thing we look at. That's all we can see, just to be clear about that, is just basically if the employer has an account and that they do not have a last payroll date, meaning that they are still paying into unemployment insurance. So that is one of the things that we do check. We look at the Secretary of State website to make sure that the employer is listed there as well. We look at things, in the application. That is why, when I ask to make sure that you put in as much information to not abbreviate, to make sure that employers are not putting in a personal email address, that they put their work email address. And sometimes I know that happens where it auto populates. And so, because those are little red flags for us, just to make sure that we double check it, to make sure that we are actually speaking to somebody who does work for the company, and would have the authority to have the account. And sometimes we do have employers that are working with a third party, like a law firm. We have sometimes they work with companies that do posting for employers, such as Circa Works, eQuest. Those are just America's Job Exchange. Those are a few different third parties that do job posting for companies. And so when you have a third party that is involved, the employer still needs to set up the account themselves in their name. We're going to do the verification with the employer, and then we do request a letter of authorization. Telling us that the third party, if a third party is posting their jobs for them. So we have that on record in case the third party ever reaches out to us, as maybe they're locked out and they need to have access. And so we need to make sure that we have those on file as well. And then again, we're going to, once the help desk gets the application, we are going to reach out and go through the questions that we have here. Again, we want to make sure that an employer is verified and vetted, to have access to post their jobs and reach out to job seekers. All right. So once the application is approved and an employer has an account, I just wanted to provide some information here. This is the home page that an employer will see. This is where an employer is going to be able to edit account information. So if their email changes or anything particular for that contact for your account, any information that needs to be updated, you would have access to update that information. You can see in the menu there, that's where you are able to manage and post your job orders. You can post apprenticeships, veteran-friendly jobs to flag your job as a veteran-friendly job, so our veterans can see those easier. And the other side too, and we'll get into that, you'll be able to see our veterans. They also have the ability to flag that they're a veteran, and you can search for those resumes in particular as well. You have access to previous job postings, so and you can edit and copy those. So if you have a job that you frequently post for, that's always a nice little tool. So you can go back and repost it whenever need be. And then we get into the searching for resumes. Features and saving resumes, and some of the different functionality there, which we'll get into here in the next couple of slides. So posting a job order, that is one of the main features of an employer account. And as you can see, once you get into that managing job orders and selecting posting a job order, this is the screen that will appear. Again, you need to complete all of the required fields marked with a red asterisk before it can be posted live to the website. So we get calls on occasion where people are like, I can't get my job to post, and it's typically because there's one section that hasn't been completed. That's typically what happens. But as you can see here, you can put in information such as the job location, how to apply, job information, and candidate requirements. There's a lot of different areas that do need to be completed. We always encourage, and I'm sure Liz is very well aware of this, to make sure to fill it out as completely as possible. That is one way to make your job posting stand out. Sometimes a little suggestion that we tell people is next to the job title, maybe put a dash and put maybe if you have a hiring bonus, right, for that position. When job seekers search for job positions, they're going to see the job the posting, the title, and sometimes I think that might stand out in all of the different jobs, right? If you have hiring bonus, right, or full, complete benefit package, little things that I think that are important that a job seeker should know. A little, suggestion that would say is next to the job title, you have to put the job title in there, but next to it, you can maybe add a little highlight, right? That might catch a job seeker's eye. Um, and again, job orders can be reposted using the manage job orders functionality and reposting that, and jobs can be posted up to 180 days. All right, moving forward. Searching for resumes. That is, one of the main reasons a lot of employers want to have an account, not only to post their jobs, but they also want to search for candidate resumes. And I think in this day, right, with the current job market, it's essential to be able to do that, just to make sure that you're getting as much you're having as much contact with job seekers out there as possible. We have a couple of different options. You can, when you go into, I know the screen is probably a little small, but when you go in there, you can, there are some different options for searching for resumes. Probably one of the most popular features is to use the job posting itself to search for resumes. And you'll see that right here at the top under where it says match resumes to job order. So you can select the specific job posting that you have that's currently live. And then once you do that, you will receive results in this middle screen here that will rank the resumes in the search results with the stars with the closest match based on a keyword search and matching technology. So that is very popular. A lot of employers use that because it is going to return results that are specific to the job posting itself and matching those keywords. You don't have to use that feature. You can also search by geographic location. And if you're looking for specific requirements like education, you can select some of those options as well as filter down into searching for people who are looking for full or part-time, the different types of shifts or work types as well, and what candidates have put out there for their job search when they've posted their resume, and also a keyword search as well. So those are just some of the options. If you get really good results on a specific type of search that you do, you can utilize our Save Search functionality, and that will do a search on a daily basis, and you'll receive an email giving you the results of that search. As you can see here on the left, the screenshot on the left side there, that is the Save Search functionality that you can utilize to have those searches run on a daily basis and provide updates for resumes that match your search results. Now, I know we have a little bit of time here left. I've thrown out a lot of information. The final thing here that I want to make sure that you are aware of is that when you are on MinnesotaWorks.net, there are user tutorials, and they provide short little videos anywhere from 3 minutes to 8 minutes on a variety of different topics on how to register for an account, adding a job posting, searching the different search options, maintaining your account information, as well as an employer guide for MinnesotaWorks.net as well. There is a right on the homepage, there is a button there. I've included the link here on the slide also, but the easiest way to go to it is to go to MinnesotaWorks.net and go to the homepage and select on the user tutorials if you ever need any assistance with managing your MinnesotaWorks.net account. And then again, information, if you're ever having difficulties with your account, you can definitely call the CareerForce Information Assistance line for minnesotaworks.net and careerforcemn.com. You want to select option 2, and that will take you to a live person who will be able to assist you with any needs that you have with your minnesotaworks.net account. And now questions.
Thanks. Yeah, if anyone has a question, you feel free to put it in the chat or you can unmute yourself. We've got about 1 minute left. I do thank all of you for attending and listening. This definitely was a quick overview, but please log in to CareerForce MN. There's more information. We have a site called Post a Job that has detailed information on how to use Minnesota Works, and definitely call the information and assistance line at any point. So no webinar next week or on the 30th, the 23rd or the 30th. Please join me again for Employment Services and Specialists on January 6th. And I hope all of you have a really great end of 2021. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.